everybody, Fairwind Cosplay here with
Aurelian Cosplay.
And today we're going to take a look at the Cosplay Would You Rather game. I've seen a couple cosplayers on YouTube like Kumori no Hime do this survey, so we thought we would give it a try. Alright, so the first question, would you rather cosplay the hero or the villain?
I guess it depends. I think most of my cosplays are heroes.
Mine too, I think. But sometimes the villains have really, really cool designs.
They do, but I feel like I'm too lazy to do them. Or they're too revealing for my liking.
Alright, so I guess for this one, we're both going to pick the hero. So would you rather sew your next cosplay or build an armor costume?
I'm not good at either of those things.
I think I'd rather sew it. I'm proficient at sewing. I'm by no means a really excellent seamstress, but I could probably sew an entire costume if I had the time for it.
I'd have to pick sewing. I'm okay with hand sewing. The machine scares me. It makes a lot of noises. I'm threatened.
And my machine likes to eat my bobbin threads, so. Would you rather crossplay or gender bend / Rule 63 a character?
Rule 63, I don't look good in crossplay anymore.
Same.
I don't think I ever looked good, but at one point I thought I did, but I don't.
Same here. I've only ever crossplayed one character before, and it didn't look too great. I did Rey from Free, and no matter how closely I followed all of the makeup tutorials, my face still looked too feminine. So I'd rather Rule 63 design. I've already done a Rule 63 Prince Eric Disney Bound, so I wouldn't be opposed to doing that again. What characters have you crossplayed?
We're not going to talk about my Black Butler days. We're gonna wave that one along.
All right,
that
High
didn't
School
happen.
Host Club.
Okay, that didn't happen either.
Would you rather cosplay a live action or a cartoon character?
I think we've done plenty of cartoon characters, but that's not to say we wouldn't do live action.
Mm-hmm. I think live action cosplay is harder because you're actually basing it off of a person and the unique way that they look. Everybody can have a different interpretation of what a cartoon character might look like in real life, but real people are a little bit harder to replicate because everyone's face is different.
And then the lighting is different, like with the pearls we did for my Padme gown from episode 3. We thought they were steel blue. It just turns out they're white. But they look really good.
I think I'd rather cosplay a cartoon character. Alright,
Same.
Would you rather buy your cosplay or make it?
The lazy part of me would say buy it, but I prefer to buy pieces and modify them.
Same here. Though if there are costumes that are way above my skill level, I would much rather commission them and have somebody who knows what they're doing make it for me. One of my first forays into sewing a cosplay by myself was Ariel's Disney Parks gown. I am in no way a really good seamstress, and 3 years ago I was even worse than I was before. So I still have a very sad pile of beautiful satin abandoned in our cosplay crafting room. And now I have purchased a fully realized functional Ariel park gown in the meantime. So when it's something way above my skill level, like a ball gown, buy it. Absolutely buy it.
I think I want to say a good chunk of my costumes now are purchased, but I always get kind of wary when purchasing them because different sellers and sizes are completely different than your actual clothes, and I have really broad shoulders, so maybe it will fit everywhere else except my shoulders. So I have to kind of pick and choose, do I want it to fit my shoulders and maybe not as much the rest of me, or do I want it to fit the rest of me and not so much my shoulders?
But that's tailoring. That's what tailoring is for.
I don't know how to do that.
Alright, would you rather have a giant prop or a giant costume?
A giant costume, at least you can put that in a space bag.
Like, what kind of giant costume are you considering?
A ball gown.
Okay, what about one of those big suits of armor that we saw at WinterCon the other day?
Give me a prop then. I don't like to carry a lot of things. As you will find out in this video, I'm very lazy, and I like to make things as compact as possible and easy for transportation. So, in that case, whatever will fit in the car and will take up less room in a hotel room.
I don't mind having props, but my Mara Trident is very big. It's 6 feet tall, not even counting the trident head. And getting that to and from conventions and carrying it around the con floor can be very unwieldy. So I'd much rather have a giant ball gown with a corset and everything than a giant prop. Would you rather be too hot or too cold in your cosplay?
You've survived the Katsucon fire of 2016 just barely. I don't know how we did not catch pneumonia in those costumes. And from princessing in the cold, it's really not that fun. But I also don't like being too hot. I don't like the heat.
I'd rather be too hot. Honestly, I just did a big princess event outside yesterday, in the freezing cold, out for a tree lighting, and I was wearing Coronation Anna's gown, and I didn't have a cloak, and I was freezing. It was miserable to have to keep hugging kids and pretending to be spunky and cheerful, while I felt like every inch of me, like even my bones were cold. I would much rather be overheating in a costume than being freezing. Would you rather sew everything by hand or put the entire cosplay together with hot glue?
Sew by hand. I don't trust hot glue.
We've made too many pieces with hot glue for faux leather vinyl. Sometimes the material is too thick for my machine and we've had to hot glue things. You can bet the Jedi belts fall apart when they are hot glued. So yeah, I'd rather sew everything by hand. Oh, we've had this one before.
Oh no.
Would you rather be unable to find reference photos for your character or have them look different in every single photo?
YOLO! No reference photos. It is so frustrating to find pictures of characters and they never have the same lighting. Number 1, Padme with her pearls. Very close second, Kaylee Quest for Camelot, where her hair is brown, and then it's red, then it's red-brown, then it's some other color, and then you don't know what color you're looking at anymore. And it's very frustrating when you're trying to buy a nice wig for it, and then it turns out this is completely wrong, because that did happen.
I don't know, as frustrating as it is to have multiple reference pictures, I think sometimes you could pick and choose which ones you like the best and take elements from each of those designs. When I was looking at making my tightrope walker costume, there are several variations of her bodice color throughout the years and years of the Haunted Mansion artwork. Is it a purple color? Is it a deep plum? Is it a burgundy? Is it a wine color? So it's like the bodice changes as the years go by. So I liked the purple design the best, so that's what I went for. Though the Her Universe gown chose to do the burgundy wine color instead for that bodice. So both of them are frustrating, but I think I'd rather pick and choose from multiple reference photos rather than have zero.
I mean, does it count if you make your own reference photos?
No?
Okay. Because we kind of had to do that making Aelita because we couldn't figure out what the skirt looked like or what her leg wrappings looked like. So I had to sit there and rewatch episodes. I know, so hard and so time consuming to find images of her legs.
Hit the screenshot every time you see her legs.
So I prefer to just make my own reference images if they aren't consistent, or if you can't find any, I'll make them.
Fair enough to me. Okay, would you rather go to a small local con or travel for a huge con?
What do you prefer?
I actually like the bigger conventions. Small conventions near us on Long Island are nice, and it's very convenient to not have to have a hotel room and not have to spend a lot of money to have fun at cons. But two of the conventions I personally have the most fun at are Katsucon and Anime Boston, and one of them is 5 hours up north and the other is 5 hours down south. So because I've had such wonderful experiences at both of those cons, I would much rather travel for a big convention like that. What about you?
Again, I also prefer the ease of, not having to book a hotel room, but I think I like the huge con atmosphere. Local cons are fun. I've had not so great experiences at more local conventions just in this year. I don't know why, but I don't really get the same feelings when I go away to conventions, but I also get really bad travel anxiety. So if I could go to Katsucon and it would be outside my door, that would be really great.
Move
because
to DC.
then I wouldn't have to do anything.
Move to DC.
But I think for this one, I'd have to pick the bigger cons.
Okay. So, would you rather have a perfectly accurate cosplay, like 100% to the T screen accurate, or have some artistic freedom with a cosplay?
Artistic freedom. If it doesn't look flattering on me, I don't want it on my body.
Same here. I'd much rather make sure that my costume has elements of what looks good on me and what I'm comfortable with. For example, the design that I did for Bombshell Mara earlier this year, she has 2 costume variants. One is a bathing suit, and one is a bell-bottom nautical sailor look. When I did that costume for a Bombshell group, I chose to do the Bombshell pants looks because it was March and it was freezing and there was still snow on the ground. But she has a crop top, and I'm not overly comfortable with my midsection, so I opted for a longer top. Still green, still scaled material that fit the look, but was modified so that I felt comfortable in what I was wearing.
Also, if someone comes up to you and says that isn't screen accurate, or they start staring at you and like nitpicking that it's not screen accurate, they have no right to be doing that, and you have every right to tell them to back away and stop getting that close to your person, because that's really uncomfortable and it's really rude.
Unless you're specifically entering a cosplay competition where judges need to see every detail of your costume, or you're doing something very screen accurate like the 501st or the Rebel Legion, where it has to be to the T screen accurate, then do what makes you comfortable and do what makes you happy. So if that means doing everything completely accurately to the Star Wars universe, go for it. Or if you prefer to have artistic freedom and dye things or add extra details to props that might not be there in the original artwork, go for it. I'd rather make it my own.
Yeah.
Ooh. Would you rather wear inaccurate but comfy shoes or wear accurate but painful shoes?
Inaccurate and comfy. I've worn accurate shoes and I wanted to die.
Me too. I hate heels. I hate heels a lot. Would you rather become the character you most recently cosplayed or become the nemesis of the character you most recently cosplayed?
The one I just most recently cosplayed didn't really have a nemesis.
What was the character you
It was
just
Alice.
cosplayed? Alice? You'd be the Queen of Hearts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I'd rather be Alice. At least I'd wake up. It's not that bad.
I would rather become the character I most recently cosplayed. Mara Jade's been one of the characters I've adored since I was a kid, and even though, unfortunately, she got killed off and she's not canon anymore, her storyline is so important, and she's such an incredible female character added to the Star Wars universe that I would take everything from her storyline.
But I don't want you to be dead.
It happens. Would you rather have to wear a bald cap or a really long wig?
A really long wig. I've seen the application of bald caps and it just doesn't look fun. And no thanks. Like, to anyone who can wear them and enjoys wearing them, you do you.
Would you rather give up or sell or lose all your cosplays or never make a new cosplay again?
Never make a new cosplay again.
Same here.
It doesn't say never buy a new cosplay.
Ah, loophole. Yeah, I would rather just continue to cosplay with what I had rather than give up all of them and never do it again.
Yeah.
This is our conflict. Would you rather have too many characters to cosplay or have no idea what to cosplay?
Have too many ideas. I feel like when I have no ideas and a lot of conventions coming up, you get a lot of pressure to do certain things, or people will tell you, oh, you should do this or you should do that. Don't even watch it, just get it. And I like to put my money into things that I actually care about and things that matter to me. So I'd rather have too many ideas that I want to do than have nothing and have something foisted upon me.
Yeah, I'd rather have too many ideas. We both have folders in our cosplay Facebook pages that are just like dream cosplays. And realistically, we're not going to do all of them. We don't have the time or the money to do that. But it is nice to look at things and try and figure out, okay, how about I made it for this con and with these materials and with this group of people just to see if it would work. So I'd rather have way too many ideas than none. Because, I mean, there's nothing less fun than sitting around being like, what am I going to do? I don't know.
I mean, we already do that. We have so many ideas, and then days of conventions, it's like, what do I wear?
What do we wear?
I don't know what to do. I'm so
Hashtag
indecisive.
cosplay problems. Okay. Oh, this is our last one. Would you rather have very little time to craft but lots of money, or have very little money and lots of time?
Little time, lots of money.
Why is that?
This is an expensive hobby. I'm a procrastinator, and I get very anxious when there's a time limit on things, but with the resources, maybe I would be smart enough with what I have and, buy the things that won't take as long to cure or to sew, and they'll still, hold up over time. That way, the next time I wear it and I don't have any time, I won't be, wasting it to try to fix what I've already done.
I'd rather have very little money and lots of time. I like to budget things for cosplay, and I tend to procrastinate in both the cosplay hobby and in real life. So at least if I have the materials, at some point I will work on them. Like, I've had materials for my anime Boston costume since June, and I haven't had time to work on them, but by golly, am I gonna work on them. I'd rather budget and have very little money and make something that I like, rather than have a whole lot of money that I'm blowing on something in a very limited amount of time to do it.
That's probably the smart thing to do, but,
Yeah.
I never said I make good decisions.
Alright, thanks for playing this game with me. If you'd like to do the tag, I will leave the survey link down in the description box below. We'll try to make another video before the year is out, summing up our cosplay experiences and the costumes we've done, the conventions we've been to, etc., etc. Oh, and what we're doing for the new year, at least planning. Alright, thanks for joining us on this game. See you around.
Bye!